Good evening. I hope you had a wonderful Monday start of this week, August 12th, because it's the evening. We are in Proverbs 12. And I have to ask you, did you speak any words today that were like stabbings, full of hurt, like wounds? In verse 18 of Proverbs 12, it says, there is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, right? You can backstab and you can front stab, but the tongue of the wise is health. Did we bring utterances that brought nourishment to the listeners, or did it just like, oh my goodness, make someone feel worse? And also a question that I have to ask is, did we put forth effort? Were we diligent in our work, or were we just slack? In verse 24 it says, hardworking hands gain control, but lazy hands do slave labor. And the King James Version says, the righteous is, the hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under heavy tribute. That's slaves, right? So if you want to be a leader, the secret is, a lot of us, want to get advanced degrees, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But the secret is when you really work hard as unto the Lord, promotions comes from him, right? It doesn't come from the north, south, east, or west. It comes from the Lord. Oh, yes, it does. And let's see, my son text verse 2, where it says, a good man obtaineth favor of the Lord, but a man of wicked devices will he condemn. And he said, honesty is the best quality, right? There's no time to, be shysterish and trying to finagle and finesse people. No, it's good to be of truth and integrity, right? And that is a great trait of leadership. All right. And we are in Judges 8. And this chapter is talking about how Gideon's people started getting hungry, and Gideon approached two groups of people, Succoth and Penuel. And he was like, yeah, you know what? Look, we've been fighting all this time. Will you give us some bread, some food? And the leaders of the camp were like, no, you need to capture these two kings. When you do that, then you could come back. And then Gideon was like, oh, okay, bet, you didn't feed us. Okay, I'm going to come back. And pretty much I'm going to handle the business. And you know what happened? And again, he went to another camp, Penuel. And again, they came off bogus too. Like, no, you need to capture those two kings. They start with the letter Z. Zeba and Zalmunna. Well, anyway, what's that? That's in, Zeba and Zalmunna in verse 7. Well, anyway, eventually they captured the kings, but guess what? Gideon went back and killed the men of the city. He tore down the tower of Peniel, and he was like, right? Because you came off bogus. So that's why I'm saying we had to be careful that our words, let's not be careless, but let's be prayerful, and let's share our bread when we have, the means to do so. Yeah, let's be generous. And something else that happened was that he started having so many victories, right? And then, just like life, he became old, and Gideon died, and the Israelites went back to worshiping craziness, Baal and idolatry, and God was not pleased, and they just forgot what happened. So let's always remember God's faithfulness. And let's see, my son also had something from this chapter, verse 5, talking about the bread of what they were asking for. My son said, God will give bread of life, so we never have to hunger. Pretty good. Also, eat foods that energize instead of making us sloppy and tired. Yep, it's talking about diligence, hard work, and eating the bread that will never make us hungry, and the water that the Lord gives us, the living water, where we'll never thirst again. All right. Hope you have a wonderful evening, resting, and let's enjoy his faithfulness forevermore. Good night.